Everybody's favorite brand on earth, Armaf, manufacturer of fine clone fragrances known the world over for their extreme quality. Or something like that. Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today I'm going over with you guys 10 of my choices for the best Armaf fragrances that you can buy. In case for some reason you're unaware of Armaf, they manufacture mainly clone fragrances, which basically means that they're taking a fragrance that already exists, typically a more expensive one, and they're making their version of it, trying to get it very close to that one for a much more affordable price. Armaf is crazy popular in terms of how many people are looking for these, how many people are buying these, and also some people really can't stand them. Which makes sense because some Armaf fragrances are frankly terrible. Some of the worst things I have ever smelled in my life are Armaf fragrances. But these ones are good. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out. Oh, where to start? Well, this one, I guess. Club de Nuit Intense Man. This is the most popular, most well-known fragrance from Armaf. This is a clone of Creed's Aventus. And this really is the most popular, most well-known clone of Aventus. As many people have talked about, including myself, the main problem with this one is the opening. The opening of Club de Nuit Intense Man is rough around the edges. Now, by rough around the edges, I mean it kind of sucks. There are a lot of people out there who will say that it's grown on them over time. They'll say, oh, I actually really like the opening now. Well, that's good. Way to find, a rainbow and a storm or whatever. The opening has this kind of lemon cleaner aspect to it. It's astringent. It's a bit harsh. And it does have, as I mentioned, a focal point on lemon, whereas with Aventus, you're going to find pineapple and bergamot, and it's going to come across smoother and fresher. But once Club de Nuit Intense Man settles down, it gets a lot better. Once that lemon fades away, the scent gets so much nicer. The performance here is great, lasts a long time, projects heavily, big time compliment puller, great attention grabber. It still gets hate from time to time, and the bottle looks really tacky. I hate the look of it, but the fragrance itself, for the price, is very good. For a lot of people, Club de Nuit Intense Man is the one and only Creed Aventus alternative that is the tops for so many guys out there. Now we're going to delve into the first of many fragrances that are going to be along a similar style, a similar profile. This one is Hunter Intense. Armaf bottles are nothing if not unique looking. Maybe really horrible looking, but unique. So Hunter Intense is going to get you sort of a Dior Sauvage type feeling mixed with Paco Rabanne's Invictus. Sort of an Invictus Intense mixture if you want to be really specific, but Invictus. So you're going to have that attention grabbing nature that Sauvage has, but you also get that bubblegummy sort of sweetness as well. It's a Frankensteinian kind of scent, which is something that Armaf has been doing for a while. A lot of these fragrances I'm going to talk about here today are more a mixture of a clone instead of just a straight up emulation of one fragrance. They are two or sometimes more fragrances kind of muddled together. With the sweetness this one has, it's going to appeal probably more toward younger guys, people that are looking for something that they can wear out during an evening or during the day. That's not going to be overwhelming, but that will get them positive attention. That's what this is going to do. From there, let's move on to Très Nuit. This one is an alternative to Creed's Green Irish Tweed, and it's actually a really good one when you consider the price that you can pick this up for. None of these are very expensive, but this one is one of the cheaper of the bunch. This one's very green, very fresh, has a decent amount of sweetness as well, perfect during the spring, and a lot of people actually prefer this over Green Irish Tweed. Do I? No. But some people do. And going along with that tacky / weird bottle design, they have a leather belt that goes all around the bottle here. Strange. From there, let's move to another Club de Nuit. This one is Sillage. Club de Nuit Sillage. Very reflective, this one. This one is a clone of Creed's Silver Mountain Water, and a really good one. It's also not Armaf's only clone of Silver Mountain Water. They also did Derby Clubhouse Blanche, which I own, and that one is solid as well, but not as nice as this. This one is much smoother, much more well done, smells higher quality. The Derby Clubhouse Blanche has a bit more of a sharpness to it, and definitely comes across smelling cheaper. That being said, Derby Clubhouse Blanche is cheaper. So if you're on a really tight budget, like you don't have much money at all to spend and you want a little Silver Mountain Water action, you could go with that one. But all things being equal, this is the one you want. This is one of the better clones that Armaf has, period. As far as being a great take, a great emulation of an existing popular expensive fragrance, this is one of the best ones they've ever done. And from there, I would get this one out of the way. Club de Nuit Milestone, also very reflective. This one is a clone of Milestone Imperial, again by Creed, and like Club de Nuit Sillage, it is very good. Those were actually the first two that I picked out for this list. I just grabbed them, they were right next to each other, and I was like, yeah, they both gotta be in. When this one came out, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how close it would be, or if it would end up being, you know, a rough around the edges take on Milestone Imperial, but it is shockingly good. To the point that people who love Milestone Imperial that smell this think, my God, I don't know if I even need to buy the Creed anymore. Now, of course, I'm going to take the Creed all day, every day. But if you're looking for a really cheap alternative to Milestone Imperial, this is about as good as you are ever going to find. Quality is insane. It is a fantastic spring and summertime fragrance. So fresh, and they get that salty sort of watermelon vibe just right. From there, we're hopping over to something much more aggressive, not quite as smooth. It's Ventana. I keep saying it, but again, this is a really ugly bottle. I hate the way this looks. This just feels plasticky, crappy. And the atomizer somehow is worse on this one, so not much to like about the presentation. Ventana is gonna get you a really nice alternative, an interpretation of Dior's Sauvage. Now, Hunter Intense over here, that was a kind of amalgamation of fragrances. You know, Sauvage, definitely one of them, but also an Invictus-y sort of vibe. Ventana is just straight Dior Sauvage, the more aggressive, metallic Dior Sauvage. So if you were looking for a Dior Sauvage alternative and you didn't want any of the other extras, you didn't want that melding of other scents with it, this is what you would go for. After that, we're gonna take a look at Craze. Yeah, Craze. This is one of the first Armaf fragrances that got heavily hyped. Again, I'm harping on it, but the presentation is terrible on this and it breaks very, very easily. Mine broke not long after I got it. Oh, it's breaking even more. Cool. Nice. So this little collar is supposed to be connected there, and then the cap goes on there, but yeah, busted. The whole bottom part of the collar is just disintegrating. One day I went to take the cap off and it just went whole thing. So that's a little annoying, but ultimately not a huge deal. This is an alternative, a clone of Parfums de Marly Pegasus, and it's a darn good one. To me, this is more trying to be just a straight up Pegasus clone. It's not really, you know, Pegasus with a twist. Because a lot of times with alternatives or clones, it won't smell exactly like the fragrance. It's close, but you can tell that they've tweaked and changed things. Like Club de Nuit Intense Man. This is not exactly like Creed's Aventus. You can tell that it's definitely inspired by Aventus, but they've changed things up a bit. Craze is more just, hey, look at me, I'm trying to be Pegasus. Now, one thing that I need to let you guys know about is the flankers of this, the ones that came out afterward, are terrible. Stay away from those. The only Craze that I've ever smelled that's worth actually owning is this one. From there, let's hop on over to Le Parfait. And this one, they gave a little magnetic cap. Check this out. Whoa. The bottle is a little weird, but all things considered with what we've got going on here, it's not that bad. And this one is one of those interesting sort of twists. This smells kind of like you took green Irish tweed and then mixed it with the Ventus. So this one is almost like taking two of the most popular fragrances from Creed and kind of slapping them together, and they had a baby, and it was Le Parfait. And that's the kind of twist that I can get behind, because I love Aventus, I love green Irish tweed, so this one I think is very nice, very well done. From there, we're gonna hop over to one of their niche line of fragrances. It is Armaf Niche Oud. So I guess this is one of their higher end lines, if you wanna call it that, their Armaf Niche line. And even though this is from their niche line, the price on it is still pretty good, like you'd expect. And this one's gonna get you quite close to Ombre Sultan from Serge Lutens, which is a great amber fragrance. Even though this is an oud scent, according to the front here, really it's a sweet, warm, ambery fragrance. Very well done though. And for my personal taste, you know, probably one of my favorite ones here, if not my favorite. And we're gonna finish things up with the Pride of Armaf. So what is the Pride of Armaf, you might ask? Well, it's kind of like Dior Sauvage again. Yeah, so we've got multiples of Dior Sauvage type fragrances in this list. And there are a lot of Armafs I own that did not make this list, but there are also many more Armafs that I don't own that if I did, probably would have made this list. So if I pick up more in the future, I'll try to update this or something. But yeah, this is kind of a Dior Sauvage-esque type fragrance again. This one though, much smoother and less aggressive than Ventana that we talked about earlier. So in the hierarchy of Sauvage, you could think of Ventana as more like an eau de toilette, and this is more of an eau de parfum take. Because this has a little more smoothness, richness, and sweetness. It doesn't have as much of a metallic, brisk, aggressive opening as compared to Ventana. So it really depends on what type of Sauvage you're after as to which clone you would get. And with that one, the Pride of Armaf, we're gonna wrap up this top 10 of Armaf fragrances. Let me know in the comments below some fragrances from Armaf that you've tried that you think are worth me checking out that maybe could make this list. I'll see if I can't pick them up. As always, thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.